Top to morning, laddies. My name is Chaz, and welcome back, or welcome to the reboot of What If Zuko had Demon Lord Milim Naga's powers. That's a mouthful, yes, but hey. So, and I'm also throwing in Zumi. Eh? So that makes it way more entertaining. So, yes, and I know that Demon Lord Milim is a girl, but in this what if, I'm actually gonna add her, ner, or actually, so yeah, so I'm giving him like all the same powers as hers, like including her transformation one, but way more boy-like. So, plus he also transforms into a dragon, and he also accessed the entire, like, infinity, like multiple things. So that's his powers, but he's quirkless. Some of you are probably mad at me for like couple times. Like couple of you actually comment powers are it should be like quirks, this and that. I understand. Yes, I really do understand that quirks are powers in My Hero Academia universe. But in this what if universe, powers and quirks are two different things. Powers, ours, are like are superior to their like cousins. So yes, I do understand. So yes. And I'm also doing one thing. I'm also adding to Zook or Inko of a quirk called Forgetting quirk. It allows her to make people forget and like take away their memories and add it to her own or like store it in her body so that she can give them back or keep them forever. So yes. So Zuko and Zumi went to a quirk doctor. And the quirk doctor looks at Zumi first as he says, "Okay, Zumi, your thing says," as she's getting all excited, "you have fire manipulation." As she went, "Yahoo!" kind. I'm holding my phone or holding my device away from me so that when I do that. So, yeah, and then when he turns to look at Zuko, when he did the quirk testing, he says, sorry, kid, you can't become a hero." And that broke Zuko's heart. Or And in this what if universe, the Midoriyas wants quirks, not the quirkless people. So you know what Inko does? She got rid of him. Like, make her, or make her daughter forget him, or like she can change memories too. So yeah, so she gets rid of Zuko and took away his memories of he can never remember who he is or what he can't, or what his parents. So yeah, Zuko is basically pretty strong, but when he, like, after they left, he walks around now by himself. When he was walking around, let me remind you, he's at 4 years old. And now a time skip to about 15. So it's a time skip. So yes. So Zuko had a felt of urge of power going through his entire body. It started when he was after the doctors, or after Inko took away his memories. As he says, after that woman and took away my memories, I don't even remember. So he ends up getting mad. Like, he was trying to be like, first he acts like her, like all calm, and then suddenly, like when he wants, like, to become a hero, he actually did. He walked around the entire area, and he's like was trying to itch his foot as he like sees a getaway vehicle of villains. He says, "Oh, that's cool! I can't wait." As then he got reminded that he's in the middle of a road, so he ends up punching the getaway vehicle, and it sent flying into like upper atmosphere and coming down. As everyone looks at him like, well, as he walks away. So he's been avoiding like some suspicions. Like he's just a normal kid. They ask him that, "Are you do you have a quirk?" As he like says, "In truth, I don't even know if I do or not." As when he got to 15, he went to UA exam, and he literally he moved very fast. Like he's slow, or he's really fast on writing, so like fast that they swore that the paper catch on fire. But then, yeah, Zuko was there before UA exam. The warp guy warps him to a certain man. His name is All for One. All for One had some interest in the boy, since after they saw his punch and and villains spread rumors about this strong kid and walking around as All for One says this: "Hello, Zuku Mador, or Zuku, or Deku, should I say? Or actually, Zuko did have a quirk. I'm changing it. It was blind sight. So it allows the user to see, or it can blind sight people real quick. So All for One says your power and your quirk does swimmingly. I know that if you want to know what happened to you that day, that or the woman dropped you off and left you to abandon, you must do one thing for me." As Zuko says, "What is it?" As All for One says, "I want you to infiltrate the UA. Tell us what hour." So, like, he's basically trying to force them, or force him to go spy on UA. So, yeah, he says, sure. As Zuko infiltrates UA, as when he, as his name was Deku, as he says, or because blindsight is also allows the user to create the after image. So he basically moves pretty fast. He took out thousands and millions of 3-pointers and 2-pointers faster than they even produce it out. Then the 0-pointers came as Zuko looks at it as he says, avoid him. But as he doesn't just run away, because he sees Ochako underneath the rubble. So he decides to go jump up into the air, and he says, "You stay away from my friend." Blind swing! As he swung so hard that even the earth, they swore that was gonna break. But it cracked all the way, eh, like, not all the way through, but all the way across the entire fake cities. As he says, well, that was interesting. And Zuko, he did do, like, add, or when he had Infinity, he teleported Ochako away from his attack before. So then when they saw, like, his attack, they were creeped out. Like, literally, they saw how powerful he really gets. As he says, blind sight, As his memories he can't remember if his mother or he can't remember if he. So he ends up walking away as they see, or actually, he, like, All Might looks at his file and says, quirkless. How does a quirkless kid have this much power? Or, I don't know. As it goes on, as he's, like, was relaxed, as he was getting hungry, so he ends up going to Hinch, grabs the great white shark, or yeah, and ate it. Like, straight up ate the entire thing like a fish. As some of them are like, holy crap, what is this kid's quirk? As he as Zuko says, well, quirkless. I'm quirkless. As they're like, whoa, you need a quirk to be that powerful. As they trained him as Zuko tells All Might, because All Might met him, as, yeah, he says, what's your quirk, kid? Or, I know that you're quirkless, but what are they? Or, what is your power? As Zuko was, like, he stayed awake through the entire night, as he was, like, fresh, or, like, his body can never sleep. So, yeah, he basically looks at him, or it was the next morning. So he basically looks just the same thing, as he says, as he got into class 1A. Seat, or, like, so they're like, doing I'm skipping the ball throw. Oh, and like heroes versus villains, and oh, that reminds me of when after or before the heroes versus villains thing, Zuko like got forced to tell All for One about it. So yeah, he basically All for One and understands. As Zuko's outfit was about the same thing as hers, but with like long blue jeans and a it looks just like that but with bat wings on it. So yeah, Zuko was basically he doesn't need anything too special. As Zumi was wearing like her brother's like outfit thing, like in canon one. So he says, "Huh, that looks good on you." As they're like, "Huh, you don't dress up as in a superhero costume?" Hmm. Well, the he says this. Well, my power allows me to do it. As grapefruit uh, was the that purple like kid, the one that's Minoru one, the seat number 19 one underneath. So yeah, he tried to like touch Ochako and his own sister's or his outfits things, but they see or or they like looked at or they looked at Zuko's and he didn't know that he already was gone in a near flash. As Zuko wasn't playing around. He was like that mad. So yeah, Zuko who like holds his grapefruit's entire neck and says most or a lot of girls don't like when their bodies get grabbed by someone that wear or that has a grape as for their hair. As when he looked like he looked like they he looked like her but with like black and blue eyes or green eyes. Like similar to hers but way more red on the inside. As he starts freaking out as he says, "Don't you ever grab a girl's body without their permission." As he walks back, as when Zumi and Ochako looked at his after image after that, they're like, "Wait, where did he go?" As they both looked around, where did he go? As he shows up with a startled grapefruit. Oh, huh. Sorry about that. And me and him had to have a little chat. As they're all a little bit shocked that this kid freaks out, as he was a little bit oh, sorry. As All Might shows up, and he actually still has one for all. He hasn't given it to Zumi. Or he's trying to decide of if he wants to give it to Mirio or Zumi. But then when Zuku came in, or when Deku came in, he was the third option. So he says, as Zuku was paired up with Ochako, and he against Todoroki and Bakugo, as Todoroki had some doubts about Zuku's after images, as Bakugo comes in, or he was downstairs, but they got ready, and when All Might says, "Go ahead, heroes, go right in," as Ochako is "Are you still here?" As when she tried, or she put her hand near him, it fades it out. He ran right past Bakugo, handcuffs him, tapes him around, and he went right to Todoroki, did the same thing, touched the bomb, as he says, as they're holy crud, that's blindsided. And he did. As All Might's this kid's really does those after images. As Zuku, or the next day, or after that, All Might decides to say, or to look up a certain quirk called blind sight. As he accessed the hospital's databank thing and looks for Zuku's or looking up that blind sight quirk. He found it, and when he clicked on it, and the only person's name that has it was Zuko Midoriya. As All Might is shocked. Like, huh. Because he read the what blind sight does. It creates the after images and just like straight up blindsights them. Like moves really fast. But what really shocks All Might is Zuko's powers. Or Deku's powers of Infinity and Demon Lord Milim's Naga's powers. As when he saw he remembers the villain name of Demon Lord Milim Naga's, how how she always like acts so kind, but when you get on her bad side, she becomes aggressive. Yeah. And he ran into her a couple times. And man, he was he was badly bruised. He was so that startled Zuko has in in All Might thing. All Might is like in his head saying, "Has Demon Lord Milim be reborn into Zuko's body? It can't be." As he's trying to take a breather, as Zuko was, or let's say in this what if, Demon Lord Milim had a special ability of no sleep thing, so her body doesn't need rest or like. So that's what Zuko like got. So Deku's as Zuko or no, All Might calls in Zumi, or like to just talk because they enjoy, and plus he already explained what All for One does and all that extra stuff. So he also says, well, that boy, the one that you admire thing, or actually, no, erase that. So All Might was pretty good friends with Inko, or Sashi, as Sashi says, "What's wrong, All Might?" Well, something crossed my mind about this about a certain young man. His name's Deku. Yes, he's in class 1A. Well, I did some research on him, and he is not human anymore. He, the You know that demon lord milim Naga? Yeah, the spoiled rich girl that almost took down the entire city. If hasn't been for you and I. Yeah. Well, I think her powers got passed down to Deku's because she is now has been reincarnated into Deku's body. If Deku knows that about him, as he said, as a Urasashi says, yeah, but there is something else bothering you, hasn't it? Yes, it's his after images. When I looked up his quirk, or he actually had a quirk called Blind Sight 8. It's a as Sashi heard the blind sight can allow a user to create the after image and ends up attacking them. So yeah, Sashi says, hold on you're saying that Deku is the has way more powers than Demon Lord milim. We're looking at a non-level threat, and oh, he won't be okay. As they kept it hidden from everybody. So I'm at the USJ thing. Zuko and the rest of them were talking about interesting stuff, but Zuko was by himself, not talking to no like being. He wasn't talking to his friends. Where is it? He wasn't talking to his friends. So he's all quiet. And like he so and before we go or before we keep going on, let's let's do a history in this what if thing. So in that universe, Demon Lord milim was a millionaire. Like she was like a rich kid with her rich family that she or their popularity past like Momo Foundation thing. As they name someone like ticked her off, like someone killed her family, like her parents, as she became that to avenge them, as she slaughtered thousands of million trillion billions of people, oh, that so yeah, it's pretty rare. So yeah, so they were talking, and then a portal opens up. Shiraki sent Kirigiri and the Nomu and the rest of the villains. These aren't the low tier villains. They're like Dagon level threat. I'm using like One Punch Man's and and, and system thing. So yeah, Zuko was like, huh, looks like real villains are here. As Nezu or as yep. So as Zuko sees, like, he was the last one out. As he sees Mr. Aizawa was gonna get killed by the Nomu, but Zuko created the after image and punched the Nomu's brain, ripping it out, and his costume, or he actually grew like four bat or no dragon wings, and his body became that. So yeah, he basically like imagine four giant dragon wings on him. And yeah, Zuko wasn't messing around as he slaughtered the all the villains without any hesitation. Like he picks up Mr. Aizawa, flies him all the way to oh, and escapes as they're like, huh, we will meet again. As Zuko was basically, when they saw how big the dragon wings were, it made the that bird guy's wings look like little pillows casings. So yeah, Zuko was basically the strongest one there is. And I'm skipping the sports festival because one, Zuko won the race, and he also transformed into a dragon. And he did the after image, so he like they're trying to look for their headband thing. As they see Zuko's had the entire of their headbands around his own neck, all the way down. As yeah, that was pretty powerful. And I'm also skipping the internships and yeah. And I'm skipping the camp arc. As now Zuko or Bakugo got captured because they thought he was the first place. So yeah, then Zuko came out of nowhere as he wasn't just being himself. So All Might asked or tells tells as All for One says, huh, there's a great Hornor, or I forget his name. Does All Might want to know who was spying on you and your class? The little snake? It was Deku. As it shocks All Might. Huh. You can't just. Or as All Might tells him when that Zuko is too nice to. Well, he's just a tool in my. Once he entered, he was my puppet. So I manipulated him to watch your every move, All Might, and your class. As Zuko came out of nowhere, all mad at All for One, because he cares about all for or All Might, but he hates All for One. So yeah. So as Inko sees her own son on a TV, you mean, with a body that can, as All for One says, Zuko, you have done well. So now, your reward, your final reward. As Zuko, as All for One says, you're powerful. As he literally used his, like, those stretchable fingers, he used one, pierced right through Zuko's brain. All the way through. As All for One says, we got that trash out of my way. Now let's begin. As All Might is tearing up because Zuko, or trusted him, as he says, or as All for One says, well, he is no longer with us. So now you're. Well, let me tell you a little story of why did he, like, joined UA or spying on UA students. Is because he proposed to him to, if he infiltrates UA, then I'll tell him what his memories. As Zook, as All Might says, says you you knew about his quirk called Afterimage. You were after him the entire time. You just manipulated him to become your next successor. As Chiraki-sen says, wait, what? What? As All for One says, yes. I try to make him, or try to, use his own powers. Because Demon Lord Milim, back then, he didn't want anyone to be in her way. She was a loose cannon that I am glad that she's been put down. As Zuko's afterimage, actually, All for One didn't steal it, because actually, blind sight allows him to, or allows it to hide from all the way, basically, like, when you cover your eyes and you don't see nothing, it's like hide and seek, but it's permanently hidden from the quirk tests and, people that try to steal it. Well, you're her quirkless, Zuko. I'll give you that much. As when Zuko heard the hat from All for One, he didn't just like he didn't just take it kindly. He took it so serious. He says, "Hey, All for One, you know what's a good thing about my powers? I always come back to destroy someone like you." As he literally destroyed All for One, like basically ripping him or his limbs from limbs, he literally, All for One, died. And yeah, everyone that saw it knew that Demon Lord Milim was power was out of control. But when they saw Zuko's power, they know it was because it was a combined of all three, or all of them, like Demon Lord Milim and her two parents fused their powers into Zuko's body, and yep, as he says, well, as Zuko says, if you who that is a crime if you murder somebody. As he turns around and he puts his both palms together in there, as he says, go ahead. As All Might knows that Zuko would rather like be sentenced, but Actually, they, like, I know that you were trying to, or you weren't being a spy. It as All Might looks at All for One's dead corpses, like skeleton, as he says, "Huh, yeah." As Zuko says, I feel guilty about killing All for One off." As Zuko accessed one of his powers accidentally, as he sees the who was the one we're working with that creates the doctors or creates the Nomus, as he's shocked, like literally, like as All for One, or no, Zuko says to All Might that I know that you might not believe me, but I do know where, or I do know who was working with All for One. As All Might says, okay, who's working with him? As Zuko says the actual name of that doctor. And yeah, Zuko, you want me to bring him in to make up for that crime thing, like time? Like, as all, all mates and the detectives and the chief of police and the government says, huh, you're not guilty. Because you're always on, or they always see him as honesty. So he teleports, grabs the real one. He teleported to a real one. He grabs the real one, teleports to the prison. As he says, huh, okay, hmm. As the doctor, before he left, he says, if you want to know about your quirk, I do know that your quirk is, as it's on my computer. As Zugu went and like accessed his computer, as he sees it said on there, it said Zuku Midoriya, quirk, blind sight. It allows the user to create the after image of a person. Okay. As Zuko, who he really did, and please wait for part